Hello everyone, we are back today with Dead Cells. I know it has been quite a while since I have uploaded a Dead Cells video. In fact, it's been a bit over a year if I'm remembering it right. Today we're going to be running a build with the Bladed Tonfas plus Infantry Grenade. It is a new weapon from the Queen of the Sea DLC, which has kind of gotten me back into Dead Cells. If you remember, I stopped right around the Malaise rework. A lot of people think I stopped just because of that. I was kind of burnt out on Dead Cells, on content creation, on a lot of things. I was forcing myself to do a lot, and I wasn't really liking how I was making videos, on top of being a little frustrated with Dead Cells. And there's still gripes I have with the game, but I've really been enjoying it since this DLC came out. But yeah, today we'll be running the Blade Tonfas. They are a new item in the DLC, and we will be going to that DLC. So just kind of a heads up if you are, still going through and haven't played it yet. Just in case, if you're not wanting to see that stuff, I will give a bit of a warning in advance as well once we get to that. But yeah, I'm back with Dead Cells. I'm going to do some more videos, but I don't want to promise anything. I think I kind of learned that lesson a lot. You'll hear it often that you should never make promises for videos, because then you'll never be able to keep up with them. And yeah, I don't want to ever promise that I'm going to be doing more videos, but I do have the itch to make videos right now. So no promises, but I have some ideas on other weapons I'll try, guides, stuff like that. But yeah, let's just jump right into the run. So starting into the run, obviously we're gonna have our Blade Tonfas, and just starting into prison quarters. One of the things I am really trying to look for with the Blade Tonfas early on is an offhand weapon. I do prefer it with something like a Firebrands, a colorless Ice Shards, or Boy's Axe, or Throw Knife. Throw Knife and Firebrands are the big two ones, obviously. And kind of the gimmick of this weapon, if you don't know, is that's kind of a mix between Meat Skewer, where it gives you a lot of mobility, and a Swift Sword, where it gets crits based on your speed and how you're moving with the weapon. And it has really, really good crit damage, which it makes it kind of a prime ideal thing for biome clearing. Once you're getting those crits, especially if you have a Firebrands on the enemy already, it can be a really good combo ender, essentially. But yeah, just kind of some basic prison quarter stuff here. Going, really simple for me. Nothing too scary. I already have my 30, so I'm not too worried about if I take damage from this Oven Knight. And I am definitely still a bit rusty. I've been playing a lot since this update dropped, but I did miss about a year of content. I missed a lot of weapons, a lot of blueprints. I still am missing a decent amount of stuff from both Fatal Falls and, a couple of updates since then. And also, I'm missing a couple of weapons that just got removed from my save file when I reinstalled the game. I don't know why. I'm missing Barrel Launcher. I was missing Tesla and Emergency Door. I don't know what happened to them, but I got most of them back, but I am still missing a few. But yeah, this is just some basic prison quarters. I'm really taking advantage of that lunge attack that it has, and that's, as we get deeper into the run, and I get the mutations I'm looking for and the weapons I'm looking for, that is what I'm going to be going for. You're really going to see that it works as a great finisher. Now here, you're going to see me grab a green scroll, or no, purple scroll, even though I'm in a Brutality run, and actually I have a good reason for that. If you go into the next biome with more tactics or survival than brutality, you're going to get brutality off scrolls. However, the offset of that is if you find a challenge rift, which I thought I didn't find. So, I'm still going to get those bad dual color scrolls, but the challenge rift does offset it. So it's not a huge deal, right? Because you're like, oh, I get a purple, but then I get a challenge rift and I'm still getting the red. So, it's going to even out fine. So I think I've been going with that strategy pretty heavy of trying to get my off-color stat higher going into the second biome. Another thing about it is that this second biome really has weak HP enemies but strong attack, and so the extra bulk isn't even that bad having. I am unfortunately getting hit by these rats though. Blade Tonfa, sometimes it's easy to get lost in your movement or stuck up, and like I said, I am still a little rusty. You're seeing I'm kind of even missing these very easy to hit enemies just because, I'm still rusty. I'm still learning this item. It is not an easy item. You're going to see a lot of mistakes in this run, but I do, I managed to make it work pretty well. I am going to take advantage of this frontline shield while I still have it, though. It's a very good shield. only needs to be, level 4 and 5 BC or level 1 to get its maximum value. Obviously, the better you have it, the better it is, but that 20% damage buff is very nice if you can get it going. So despite the fact that I don't have, the exact items I want, I'm not a big Tolurk Shock fan. Corrosive Cloud I like, but not necessarily in a build like this. So, I'm struggling a bit, but I am still staying with it. And I think that's important, to be able to keep your B game going. Now, I do continue to struggle a bit. Obviously, I haven't gotten to 60 here yet, but I am going to go for this elite kill, and I do see another challenge rift there, so I'm like, that's that's making up for that, misgrab of the dual color, or not the dual color, the stat in prison quarters earlier. But yeah, so, we're getting our challenge rift, we're getting our stats built up pretty well, and it's evening out really well, and we're just gonna, continue through Toxic Sewers, trying to get back in our rhythm. I say as I completely miss an enemy. And then we're going to see a cursed chest up here. I'm going to take it. This is probably a really bad grab of this cursed chest. I probably should have scouted a bit more, but it is going to work out in my favor. And we're going to see a double crossbow-matic there. Is it double crossbow-matic? I think so. That's how long I have him. Yeah, double crossbow-matic. And I am going to end up taking that because it's a very good turret. And I've always kind of, when I'm doing videos to showcase an item, not wanted to take cursed items that much, but with something like this could very easily be replaced by just like a sinew slicer or a cleaver. Obviously it has its own strengths and weaknesses to those, but so I don't think it's that huge of a deal. Now, during that, I accidentally messed up with my Tolurk Shock. I jumped out of its animation, so I just decided to kite these what are these guys called? Why am I blanking on this? I know what this enemy is called. Buzz cutters. Because I want to play it safe, and I'm gonna play it super safe. Let the double crossbow just kill that scorpion. Now heading into I haven't even talked about my mutations yet. Heading into Corrupted Prison, I am gonna have Necromancy as my second one, but I'm gonna have No Mercy. It's a newer one, something I never played with before I came back to this update, and I really like it. Basically, it just executes an enemy when they're under 15% health, and it's really great for getting early kills. It's especially good in early biomes because it doesn't scale. So one of the issues with some things like a soldier resistance, combo, I guess, predator, I guess. Yeah. Also, you'll see I got a throwing knife now to kind of add with this combo finisher of the bladed Tonfas, to where I throw the knife and then just finish with the Tonfa, right? That's kind of what I'm going for. But yeah, one of the strengths of No Mercy is that its stat is just 15%, and it's good to go. Another benefit that Throw Knives is going to give is it's going to let me kind of lame out enemies like Slammers that are always really scary, especially when you have a curse. So I can just run away from it and throw the knives. Or, bats, especially Buzz Cutters. We saw how annoying that was for the Tonfas earlier. It's one of the most annoying things in the game, is Buzz Cutters. But yeah, something like Throw Knife or Firebrands is really good. Now, the reason why I took Necromancy instead of Frenzy is, on paper, Frenzy is usually better of an option in red, especially with something that's, reliant on you having high speed for your crits. But the consistency of Necromancy is going to come and play a lot in this run, where it's just going to heal me. And I'm actually going to invest mostly in my green for my off-color stat anytime I see a Minotaur Scroll. I think it's Minotaur Scroll. I might be wrong. Minotaur might be green-red. But yeah, anytime I see a purple-green, I'm going to invest in that early on instead of just building up my bulk. And the reason why is Necromancy allows you to play... Bad is a lot of times you'll think you have to play perfect to win a run in Dead Cells, but that's never really been the case. And it's important to be able to play on your B game, to be able to win while you're not playing super hot. And doing that's going to just make those runs where you are playing super hot even easier, because you're going to improve a lot. And, while something like Combo or Predator is really nice, and I don't want to discredit those mutations, it is very important to be able to bounce back from being able to make those big mistakes that bring you down to 1 HP without having to use your potion. Especially with the new bosses, we'll get to them much later, but I've been struggling a lot with them as I'm learning their patterns and whatnot, especially in Brutality, and it's important to save those potions if you can. One thing that the 5BC spoiler boss and regular runs, the very first 5BC boss, final boss, quote unquote. One thing that's a big bonus with him that you don't get with these new bosses, as we go into Ancient Sewers here. One thing that's a big bonus with him. Oh, watch it. This is awful. I get stuck on that wall and get hit. Unfortunate, but that's where we're gonna see necromancy come into play. But one thing that's really helpful with that fight is that in the final biome of the game, you do get a potion. You don't get that with these new bosses. Going through Ancient Sewers, I still have this Caloric Shock, which I'm not huge on. I'm looking for a specific item, which we will find a bit later. But my very final mutation I'm gonna get is Initiative to just make that first swing / final hit of the combo with Blade Tonfas really good. Now I am gonna see that tonic there, and I am considering it here already. And I do end up getting that for Conjunctivius. That is a big mistake because even though I get the tonic is very good with Blade Tonfas in the final boss fights. However, prior to that, I don't recommend it. So I'm going to end up getting it, and it's going to bite me back pretty hard in the Conjunctivius fight, and the biome after, which I believe is Graveyard. It's a Guardian Scroll, by the way. See that there. And you're going to see I'm going to just keep investing in my green, so I get my heal going faster with it. And am able to get past that, instant death range. This is a very scary room, by the way. I'm surprised I never end up getting hit here. But, yeah, just one thing about the Blade Tonfas is that it kind of struggles in bosses, and that's why, I was wanting to do that taunt, because I've tried this run a couple of times, and I'd beaten Conjunctivius really hard with a turret setup, and I was like, I don't need the turret here. That was just unfortunate right there. But I was like, I won't need the turret, but the extra damage in that fight is very important. And similarly, there's a tentacle down that lane, if you didn't notice. That's why I was throwing a bunch of knives, because I was just worried about it. I think it pops up. Yeah, it pops. It was really far down the road. But yeah, I am going to actually end up fighting the final item I want, which is the infantry grenade. And if I would have kept this turret, I think I would have had a lot better of a fight in Conjunctivius. However, I do think the tonic is pretty much, I don't want to say it's necessary, however, it is very nice in the final couple boss fights. And it's a very interesting thing because in my other run, I basically played the biomes perfectly, but ended up dying at the final boss fight because I kind of stuck to my guns of doing a turret plus an infantry grenade at the very end of the run, and I just did not have the damage I needed to. And I played a little off in that run, but I just didn't have the damage I was needing out of infantry grenade plus the turret that the new final bosses kind of needed. I needed some good burst damage, which is where we'll see the tonic allowing crits for the Tonfas to really come in handy later. Right now, I was just waiting for that infected worker. I call him Donkey Kong. We're good friends. I was waiting for him to teleport over to me before I initiate on that discussing orb. And I gotta body that idiot. But yeah, the build is coming together. I am gonna end up taking this tonic over that tonic we saw earlier over my current crossbow-matic, which I am gonna regret a bit. I mean, tonic is still very good, even after the nerfs. I'm not entirely sure on this room was awful, by the way. Again, don't know how I didn't get hit here. That I want to say that was probably luck. But even after the nerfs that's gone, I don't know every nerf and balance change and everything that's happened over the last year. I haven't really kept up with it, but it is still very nice to have that speed boost, the extra damage for something like Tonfa, the extra HP, which is nice. But yeah, we're gonna see that Conjunctivius. She goes down decent enough. Like the damage isn't too bad. Another thing is I have been taking throwing knives into this fight a lot more often. Those are definitely a lot better than firebrands in this fight. So which I ended up picking up firebrands. I'm not sure if that was I think that might have been in Ancient Sewers that I picked it up. But yeah, we're gonna see like my damage isn't awful, but it definitely isn't great. And then it's really gonna come and play on these tentacles where I kind of get frozen up in my movement. I'm not doing this phase exactly how I should, but I definitely do miss that damage because I was able to kill these in my other runs with ease, having something like a flamethrower, I think a cleaver. At one point I had a sinew slicer, stuff like that. If I would have that double crossbow-matic, it definitely could have made this fight much easier. I ended up taking a bunch of unneeded damage there, but it's not a huge deal because I've already lost the no-hit. But I am definitely kind of getting antsy. And this is definitely one thing I've noticed. I said I was rusty earlier. I definitely get a bit more less calm under pressure. When I'm playing bad, I used to be able to handle, just be able to mellow out and get through it. I definitely get a little bit more antsy lately, ever since I've started playing, when I'm behind or when when I've messed up the no-hit or whatever, and just kind of get a little greedy for hits that I used to not get too greedy for. Conjunctivius is gonna go in that, but then immediately transition, and it's actually gonna give me this panned out view. I would love for this panned out view to just be default in this fight. This is I believe it's just a bug because she was going for the zoom out thing, but this panned out view would help this section so much. It would honestly help the entire fight a lot more, but people would then complain like, hey, why'd you do this? But yeah, I am going to again get a little greedy for that grenade throw. I probably didn't even need to go for that, and I'm trying to just get to that no mercy damage to where it'll kill the boss. The effect is halved. I think that would mean it'd be 7.5% is when a boss dies of the remaining HP. But yeah, we're gonna clean it up, and like I said, I'm not playing the best, but it is important to be able to win runs when you're not playing the best. If you're not always gonna be able to have those perfect runs. I'm gonna go into Graveyard. I just don't like Slumber and Sanctuary that much, and this is one of my favorite maps. Plus, on top of not liking Slumber and Sanctuary, it's just gonna make my experience more enjoyable. One thing that is important, because I know it might be asked, in the comparison between Necromancy and Frenzy or Gastronomy or whatever, of why I still prefer Necromancy most of the time as my healing mutation. There are times when I don't. If I find like a Firebrands that you get speed boost after killing the enemy, yeah, I would run Frenzy any day of the week with that, right? But and even like with Tonic, it wouldn't even be bad. But why I like Necromancy, even though you can only get up to 50% HP, is that you never really need more than 50% HP, especially in 5BC, because all you need is enough to be able to live a combo, which is about 35%, and Necromancy is a very consistent heal once you get to 4 to 7 green. So even under that, it's still a very good heal to get up to that 50% range. So even though, I'm not hitting that 100% range, this is a very fragile, not fragile, I do have a decent amount of bulk, but this is a very, focus on the combo and the damage of the Firebrand, Infantry Grenade, and into a Tonfa. And you're going to see my damage is starting to scale to where that lunge is starting to make a difference. This elite, was a little bit bulky, so I didn't quite kill that, but the Tonfas really excel on just getting that Firebrand / Throw Knife off, getting the Infantry Grenade off, and then finishing off the target. So, while it doesn't necessarily have all of the best damage in all of the right places, it is great for those high to medium HP targets, like Guardians, like Earthshakers. I do get the curse, and it's going to be a very easy curse. It's just a bunch of bats. However, I do almost screw it up here by messing up my roll. I messed up my Firebrand throw there. Got a little scared by that Inquisitor. You're going to see that now that I've gotten to a map that I'm still very comfy in, and gotten kind of past that Conjunctivius fight, I'm not playing quite as shaky, I guess is a good example, a good word for it, as I was before. I'm a lot less nervous in my gameplay, and that's important to be able to, just ease yourself and steady out. I do consider this knife dance right here, because I'm wanting to get rid of my tonic. I realized that was a mistake, and I'm like, want to get a cleaver or something, anything really to help me beat Giant later. And then I see it, bleeding causes poison, and bonus to poison, so I'm like, I gotta take that. Going into Cavern, I do end up seeing this curse right here, and I'm like, well, great. Cavern is one of the worst places to get a curse. It's great to get a curse, if you can. That extra damage is very nice. Not needed, but it is nice to have or the extra bulk, whatever you end up taking. Usually damage though. It is very nice to get that, but Cavern is really rough. Outside of just elites and elite abilities, things like slammers are hard to always dodge. Orbiters are very hard. The reason I took this elevator is because I knew there was a shield bearer up here. I didn't want to just teleport directly on top of him. But yeah, this is definitely... Earthshakers in general are very scary as well. So a Cursing Cavern is tough. Demons, can't forget about demons. Bane of my existence sometimes in this game. But yeah, I'm like, I feel fairly confident I can beat it. The curse. I'm playing pretty good now. I'm not quite as nervous anymore after that conjunct fight. That kind of, you know, threw my game off a bit, but I'm making it work right and just making my way through, get the curse. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very good about this. Other than that, this wasn't a very eventful cavern. I will say I still have a level 4 Blade Tonfa, and that is one of the unfortunate things about doing these runs, especially in normal mode, is that committing to it, sometimes you're going to get a very low damage weapon. You're not going to get lucky. You're not going to find one in any of the shops, even though I went to a lot of shop biomes. I guess I went to Graveyard and Toxic Sewers, which have one less shop, or 2 less shops in Toxic Sewers' case. But I still went to a lot of shops and made sure to check all the weapon shops. And it was unfortunate, but it is what it is. Like I said, other than that, not a super eventful cavern that we had this run. I got tagged by Arbiters a decent amount, unfortunately, but other than that, nothing much happened, other than this awful section that comes up right here. So I almost fall into that, which I just thought was funny. And then I see a ground shaker with a diamond shooting elite modifier, right? So that was very scary. Other than that, I don't think I quite get enough for the 60 on this map, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Once we get into Giant, I'm still sticking with the same stuff I have. Giant is... I've always considered Giant probably the easiest boss in the game. I'm going to learn quickly here that without the knife dance to kill his eyes, it's going to be a very long fight. Even though the knife dance is great at killing his hands, I need to save it for hitting his eyes. Otherwise, it's just going to make the fight much harder, because look at the damage comparison. But yeah, the thing about Giant is that while he hits incredibly hard, I do end up getting hit by one of these lasers here in a minute, I believe. And while he hits incredibly hard, he has very telegraphed attacks, so I've always considered him a pretty easy fight as long as you don't get flustered. Yeah, that was just rough. I got tagged by it. I thought I could dodge it, but as long as you keep cool and again play with confidence, Giant does go down pretty easily, especially because I believe I believe this is a bug. I'm not 100% sure, but the rocks don't fall anymore. If it is a bug, I mean, it's got to be a bug. There's no way they just decided to nerf Giant for no reason. Yeah, it's funny. Giant's always bugged. They always find a way to bug Giant, and in the process of bugging him, they make him much easier. Always. You ever seen that I'm holding on to my knife dance now, specifically for this, because that damage, I needed to do that from the very start. I've been able to avoid that damage I took, but you're gonna see, I'm going to make a decision here that I do not want to get hit by that. I know I just need to hit him one more time, really. I was like, I'm swapping to the frontline shield that from the very start of the run. I'm swapping to it. But yeah, I'm gonna take out Giant. Not too bad. I did get tagged once by the lasers, and then it bounced me up into a couple more lasers, but pretty good. I am nervous going into this final biome though. By the way, just I extended this video here just a little bit, just to give you time if you aren't interested in seeing the new DLC content yet, and want to look away. Then you're gonna have a few seconds of me walking through the passage to High Peak and the new map, which is through this passage here. So yeah, if you're not interested in that, thanks for watching up to this point, and I'll see you there. But yeah, we're gonna go into the final new map, Infested Shipwreck. Final new map is a weird way to say that. The new final map is probably better. And this map does scare me, but I've learned like 2 tricks that I think I need to just always keep in mind. The first is that this map is never over. Both if I'm getting bodied and I'm dying, as long as I'm alive, I can beat this map. I need to keep that in mind from now on, because if I'm playing nervous on this map, I fall apart. If I'm, even if I'm playing bad, I need to just keep playing with confidence. And that's the other thing I learned, was to just always play with confidence. I know I can beat this map. I know that this map is always a threat now, and to never stop, even at the very end. Enemies in this map are super scary. Those anchor throwers are a nightmare, and you're gonna see I'm gonna get a little greedy for hits on them a couple of times through this biome. But they're one of the scariest enemies in the game, and you wouldn't think it, because they throw pretty much similar to a grenadier, but that anchor is just a problem. That anchor is a problem, and like the threat of how much damage that anchor does make me anxious. I did get tagged fairly early on at some point there. I lost my, I was losing my no hit, and I was starting to, here's another time I got hit. Very risky, but after this, I distinctly remember, you're not going to see it in the footage because I believe I cut here, but I distinctly remember I get to a room, I just take a minute. I take a minute to calm my nerves. I'm like, hey, because it's right here. This is where I noticed I'm playing nervous again. I'm worried I'm going to lose another run in the very end, because I've tried this run a couple of times to get ready. I have a lot of footage in case Blade Tonfas make it to a guide. Not saying they will, not saying they won't, but I do have a lot of footage for it. I do see a 3 right there. I was going to take it, but I ended up forgetting about it. But yeah, I think that was the room where I just took a moment to breathe, and I was like, focus, play aggressive, play smart, but aggressive, right? Because you need to kill these anchor throwers early, and the pirate captains, and all these, like, this has so many different ways of spamming you from different directions, so it's really easy to get thrown off on this map. And I think brutality in general isn't that great on this map, but yeah, I definitely think part of it is just a mind over matter thing of, hey, I got hit, I'm screwed, I'm at 1 HP, but you can definitely always make a comeback on this map, but you can definitely always lose this map at any point. So I'm gonna get that 60, and I'm gonna just keep going through. Now finally, I'm at the boss, the lighthouse. I still have these Tonfas. From the very beginning, and I almost considered dropping them, but I was like, I need to stick to it. The entire point of this video was I wanted to do a Tonfas run. So let me just do it. I'm fishing really hard on this throwing knife, because I really don't need much money. I only need about 2,000 to keep I only need 2,000 to be able to do another mutation roll before the final boss. But yeah, you're gonna see I do end up getting the tonic back that I thought I needed earlier, and I didn't. But now tonic, this is where tonic is gonna shine. And I'm looking for, I'm just trying to theory craft ideas in my head of what I want. I still want No Mercy. I believe I take No Mercy here. I think it's very good in this boss fight, and it's just nice to have. I take Instinct, the Master of Arms, and I believe, do I take Scheme? This is why I take Scheme. I think I take Tank Flask. I'm not sure. I take Scheme. Okay, so yeah, my entire idea is, I want to be able to get these knife dances going as quick as possible. Knife dance with those modifiers it had is just incredibly strong, and the tonic is going to allow me to hit them with crits with my Tonfas. And the last time I got here, I didn't have the tonic, and I found that I needed that crit damage. I really did, to make this boss fight easier, because without crit damage, this boss fight is brutal. I don't know if you haven't seen it, you're in for a treat, because it is an actively moving boss fight. I am going to get chased here by the first of what will be multiple bosses, and I'm going to pull them up to this ledge right here. I like to pull them up to this one right here and just hit them. If you hit them enough, they're going to run away, and you get to climb the rest of the section without them attacking at you. So that's kind of where I've been starting this boss fight. This map is laid out. It's not randomly generated. I think some parts of it might be, but I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it's all laid out. And I'm going to wait for my tonic to refresh. So, maybe about 20 seconds of wait. I probably should have just edited this out, but 20 seconds, it's not a huge deal. And I'm going to, continue that same idea of hit the boss super hard early on if I can, And if not, I'll have to deal with the climb section by myself, and, you know, just focus on dodging them. But Calliope, I believe is how you say it, pretty easy. She isn't, like, incredibly easy. She does get hit there, so no hit, unfortunately. And I just kind of take that extra tonic health to brute force my way through her, and those No Mercy, that's where No Mercy is really going to come in play. I'm just waiting here for the tonic to refresh again. Malaise doesn't matter at this point anymore. There are no more biomes after this, so I'm like, whatever. I couldn't care less about that bar increasing. But yeah, the entire strategy is to kill these bosses that we're going to be seeing here, because it does become a multi-boss fight. And the entire focus is to kill them fast, otherwise they become an issue. So here I'm going to run up right away into this middle section right here, and this is where I like to try and kill Calliope, but I think accidentally burst past her, but I am still going to get a decent amount of damage off, and I believe she's not quite dead, but she almost is. And this is where Uterep, I don't really pay much attention to the names, but yeah, Uterep I believe is how you would say that. But we're still seeing that Calliope is still alive, so I'm going to take them up to... Oh, I probably should have killed them on that platform right there. I think I could have. I'll keep that in mind in the future. But I am just using that knife dance to try and burst them down. I did knock out Calliope there, and I fell into the fire, which isn't an instant kill, but that was unfortunate. And kind of got a little too greedy for the kill there on a Uterep. But it's okay. It's okay. I'm still managing, and I'm going to get to the second phase where I have to fight both of them together. And again, it's just going to be the same concept of I'm going to wait for my opportunity, wait to see one of them drop down, and try and burst through. Again, playing a little shaky, but I'm doing okay, I think. The damage of those Tonfas, even at level 4, when they're critting, is still really good. Like, a crit from those things, nothing to mess around with, for sure. But yeah, I am just taking it slow with this. I know this boss pattern really well, so I'm pretty confident versus it. I know how to dodge all 3 of their attacks, I say as I get hit by one of them. But yeah, I do feel very confident versus this phase. And we're going to go on to the final climb section. And hey, we're not going to have to wait for the tonic this time. At least for the climbing section. I'm going to take a potion here just to be safe. I think it's the right call. I don't regret that potion at all. And I accidentally don't take the route I was normally taking to kill them. You can kill both of them if you climb up to that middle section. But, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Again, can't play on your A game always. And then finally, Cleo? Let's say Cleo. Cleo looks right. I am going to knock her out right away, so that's really good. I'm going to keep that in mind, that if I can kill both of them early on, I can kill Cleo right there as well. That said, I'm not too worried about Calliope. I think in the climbing section, they're the easiest one to dodge regardless. Definitely not guaranteed. We saw him get a hit on me in the first phase earlier on, but definitely I think they're a little easier. There is it's not down here, it's to the right, up here, food, which does help a lot in this fight. And I'm stealing my nerves, you know, just try to focus. I'm on a big losing streak versus them at this point, and just get it done. I say get it done, but I am going to get greedy here for something here in a second, where I'm wanting to... The way these bosses work is that whichever one you kill last will drop a specific blueprint. And I have, was it Uterep? I think Uterep is their name. I have their thing. It's the Gilded Yumi. It's an awful bow. And then the Bladed Tonfas came from Cleo, the one I killed earlier. But I don't have the one from this. It's called the Wrecking Ball. And I know it's a bad item. I've seen footage of it. It's awful. But I still want it, you know. So I'm again a little greedy to try and kill them last. And I'm like, I almost end up dying for it. I'm like, whatever. I'm just going to knock them out. I'll get it at some other point. And just go through this fight with Calliope. Or, Uterep, sorry. Calliope is the other one. Go through this fight. Again, I do know their pattern pretty well, so I'm not too worried about it. And I'm going to be able to knock them out. I was really happy that I did this, because I was on a pretty bad losing streak versus this fight. I had lost to them probably 3 or 4 times in a row. Maybe even more than that. But it was nice to, you know, finally break that losing streak. And hopefully, especially it's more so with brutality, because I've been trying to get a brutality run. I just could not get a brutality run down. Survival and tactics, I'm still fine at, but new brutality, I struggle with. I'm gonna continue to probably struggle with it until I really grind out some of the mutations, figure out combos that I like. I'm sure bleed spam is still really good. Say stiletto is still really good. But yeah, we are on to the new final boss, which we will be fighting second. If you really, this is like the last spoiler warning. But I was trying to think of what I wanted to do for her, because I've only fought her a couple times. I actually have gotten the no-hit on her. I haven't got it on the lighthouse yet. I've gotten very close a couple of times on the lighthouse, but I have gotten the no-hit on this fight. It's not too insanely hard, but you can die very quick in this, where in the other 5BC, I'm gonna give spoilers. I'm gonna give spoilers for the rest of 5BC content right here. Where the fight versus Collector, I find that he's fairly similar to Giant, where he telegraphs his attacks. With this fight versus the Queen, I find she is a lot harder to dodge attacks sometimes. Not impossible or anything, but I was like, I think I just want to play this smart. I think with Tainted Flask there, because Tainted Flask is a very, very good mutation for final boss fights, and very underrated one, and I want to disengage, so I'm just going to take this Tainted Flask right away, right before I go into the fight. That way I get, just a few extra seconds of damage, and we're going to see Knife Dance is going to melt with that extra damage, as well as, the Blade Tonfas are going to, they're mostly a cooldown machine at this point for the Knife Dance. But yeah, this attack isn't too bad. I think I accidentally get hit by this one. Nope, I end up dodging it. That's it. I know I get hit by the second phase of it, and it isn't too bad. But yeah, so she's gonna start going for it here, and I'm gonna get greedy for something. I don't know what was wrong. You can't attack her during this, but I found it's a little better to just focus on my dodging during that. It depends on the build. If I have turrets, I'll throw them down, obviously, But yeah, I'm going to get my tonic off here. I'm going to be able to do a lot of damage with these Blade Tonfas again. And she's going to hit me, but she dashed away. So that gave me just enough time to get that potion off. Even if she hit me there, I did have disengage. I messed up my double jump there. I accidentally rolled into that final version of that attack. But I am going to be able to clear it out. And I'm going to be able to clear it out. Clear it out. There we go. Yeah. So that is the Queen. Like I said, it wasn't a perfect fight. I didn't get a perfect on any of the bosses this run, unfortunately. But, like I said, I'm still getting back into my groove, both in terms of video editing, but also in terms of the runs, And getting back into the groove of things, it is important to be able to beat runs when you're playing bad, right? I said that a lot earlier, to where you're not always going to be able to play that perfect run where you're barely getting hit by anything and you might as well be cursed the entire time, but you're just on fire because it doesn't matter. But yeah, I was really happy to be able to push through this run, because like I said, I tried this Bladed Tonfas run probably 5-6 times and just wasn't able to. I was either losing in infested shipwreck, or I was losing in the lighthouse fight, and I couldn't quite get it, and it was hitting at me in the back of my head. But yeah, that was the Bladed Tonfas. I do really like this weapon. It does struggle if you don't get the proper skills and mutations for it, but hopefully, this showed a bit of what you need to do. Maybe if I happen to make a guide at some point, wink wink, I'll be able to, explain the mutations, the skills, and just how you want to go about your run a bit better with it. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, I appreciate it, and I will see everyone in the next video. So bye bye.